perception of impropriety, because in doing so, we're able to tackle two issues at once. One, legitimate concerns about conflict of interest, whether it is a member being able to have access to things like, briefings that require security clearances, and being able to kind of commingle both that experience and the ability to trade stock. Not only that, but also
a lot of action is finally being taken by Congress to help families that are financially struggling right now due to the crisis. Millions will be able to claim stimulus of up to $200 a month. And now a national average gas price has fallen slowly in mid-July, down to $4.67 from the record high of just $5 in June 2022. According to AAA, the drop occurred in spite of increased demand, sparked by holiday weekend travel and summer vacations. But many Americans are still struggling to fill their tanks while juggling other expenses. California Democrats Representative Khanna and Sheldon Whitehouse have proposed a big oil windfall profits tax in a stated effort to reduce gas prices even further. Under the legislation, large oil companies like ExxonMobil would pay a per barrel tax equal to 50% of the difference between the current price per barrel and the pre-crisis average price and the pre-crisis level before. Tax revenue would go back to taxpayers earning less than $75,000 or $150,000 filing jointly as a quarterly rebate to alleviate some of the ongoing pain at the pump. Lawmakers in Congress estimate that single filers get roughly $240 a year and that joint filers could cash in on about $360 annually. Democratic Representative Jamal Bowman and Bernie Sanders have introduced complementary legislation targeting price gougers in the oil and gas sector. A bill proposed by 3 House Democrats would send money every month to families when the national average for gas is more than $4 a gallon. Under the legislation proposed by Mike Thompson, John Larson, and Lord Underwood, eligible families would receive $100 per month plus another $100 for each dependent. In the meantime, many states have enacted or are working on implementing a gas tax holiday to provide some relief from high gas prices this summer. As recently as mid-June, President Biden was still considering a federal gas tax holiday, a move which could save Americans 18 cents a gallon. This week, gas costs less in South Carolina, Georgia, Texas, and Tennessee than it did before. And since the enhanced child tax credit reverted to its original maximum of $2,000 per child, similar initiatives by the U.S. government have been stalled.
So why aren't we forecast to win a massive majority in the Senate? Put aside the fact that some of these are more purple states. We should be on track to be picking up an enormous number of seats notwithstanding that. I submit to you the reason why is because to too great an extent, the Republican strategy, but more specifically the strategy of Senate Republican leadership, has been to try to lay back and just watch as these crises unfold.
Folks, we have a ton of good news about the fourth stimulus check, Social Security benefits, SSI, and SSDI. Continue watching because you don't want to miss out on this. Now, Americans of all incomes would see their federal taxes rise under the climate and healthcare package that was negotiated between Joe Manchin and Chuck Schumer. However, the analysis that takes into account the indirect effect of the bill's provision to impose a 15% minimum tax on certain corporations. Economists assume companies would then pass along part of their tax increase to employees by reducing their after-tax wages and job opportunities. According to data from the Joint Committee on Taxation, the minimum tax measure is expected to raise $300 billion over a decade. Republicans are pointing to the report as proof that the package would violate the pledge by the president and congressional Democrats not to raise taxes on those earning less than $400,000. The federal taxes would increase by $17 billion on American taxpayers earning less than $200,000, and those making between $200,000 and $500,000 would see the levy jump by $14 billion. By 2031, when the new energy credits and subsidies are set to provide an even greater benefit to higher income Americans, those earning below $400,000 are projected to pay as much as 2/3 of the additional tax revenue collected that year. But Manchin argued Sunday on CNN that the bill is not putting a burden on any taxpayers whatsoever. He added, "We're doing what we can to make sure we address the problems, and there are solutions to the problems we have." Manchin was a key holdout on the Build Back Better plan for more than a year, causing heavy criticism from his Democratic colleagues and advocates. Now, a bill to repeal legislation that will reduce or eliminate Social Security benefits for retired federal employees and their spouses is coming very close to a House floor vote. The Social Security Fairness Act, introduced by a representative, has more than 200 co-sponsors in Congress. That is more than enough to force a House floor vote. The bipartisan legislation would eliminate two provisions of the 1935 Social Security Act that reduce or eliminate the Social Security benefits of more than 2 million retirees.
That they didn't claim originally. According to the IRS, 9 million Americans potentially have unclaimed money, and Sieber says with the 2021 tax year offering more benefits like increased child tax credits, you could have more money waiting for you.
You can still get those benefits. So if you have any reason to suspect that you didn't get all your credits or all your stimulus monies, go see a tax pro.
So we can verify no, just because the IRS is ending their free file program for 2021 doesn't mean you can't still get unclaimed benefits from that year.
Sieber says you can amend your return on your own.
So some people may not qualify for any more monthly benefits. After changes have been made, the lawmakers say that millions of people on SNAP will continue to receive extra relief cash throughout the year. The benefit amount may decrease again this year, but so far, President Biden is still working on a fourth stimulus package. So there has been some breaking news on SNAP benefits. The recipients will receive another sizable payment in December. It includes a 12.5% cost of living approved for the fiscal year of next year. The 2022 COLA already kicked in October 1st. It will run again through September, which will help SNAP recipients offset rising food costs. But experts are warning about how the COLA may cut monthly SNAP benefits for people. There were significant changes that made to SNAP benefits this year. In September, the governor already announced an expansion to the state SNAP program. And according to the Department of Human Services, the change meant an additional 420,000 Pennsylvanians are eligible for food stamps. Pennsylvania increased the income threshold for applicants to 200% of the federal poverty income guidelines. But due to the cost of living adjustment, some Louisiana households may see a decrease in SNAP and other benefits, according to the Louisiana Department of Children and Services. This has so far affected millions of people under the Family Independence Temporary Assistance Program and SNAP program as well. State officials have said that these benefits will decrease in January. The cost of living is already increasing every single day. But now, once again, food inflation is outpacing overall inflation. What this means, though, is that SNAP recipients in the state of New York will once again receive more than $100 in their monthly benefits. SNAP has been crucial for many people in New York, and households that are currently at or near the maximum benefit level, which is about $1,000 for a household of 4, will receive SSI payments of at least $100. Benefits will post between December 12th and December 31st. An estimated $234 million in federal funding will be infused into New York's economy as a result of additional benefits. Since January, the program has contributed more than $2 billion into the state's economy, playing a critical role in